another episode of Unapologetically Tea. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. You know what I'm about to say, y'all. Did you miss me? Did you miss me? I hope you guys did, because I miss you too. Auntie, she got this new equipment going on, so I might be going back and forth and back and forth. Uh, so let's go ahead and get through some announcements. Well, I don't really have any announcements. I just actually have some birthday shout outs. So as it stands, here it goes. Like I said, it's new to Auntie. Gotcha. Mhm. Okay, there we go. Like I said, be patient with me now. But be patient with me now. So I want to wish a happy birthday to the following one: my brother Victor Dwayne Guy. Yep, I said his full name. Second, my father who turned the big 7-7. And also my girl Alexandra Grant, she just turned a big 40, 40 and fine club. What's up? And also my sister, my older sister, Felicia Trammell Taylor, will be, I ain't gonna say her age. So enough about that. I am so excited to bring on this special guest. We have known each other for almost a decade. She just dropped a book called Unpack with Courtney Renee. And she is the author of Unpack. She bared her soul behind this book and is helping people face what they have been carrying, heal from it, and start living free. She shares her own journey and the messy parts included because Courtney Renee believes in real change happens. And when we are honest about where we've been and where we are going, a third year doctoral candidate. She about to be a doctor soon. Clap that up. At the University of Memphis, Courtney Renee is living her dreams out loud. So I present to some and introduce to others my friend, author Courtney Renee. Now clap it up for her. Clap it up. Clap it up. Clap it up. Clap it up for her. Come on, clap it up for her.
Hey, Tiff.
Hey girl, how you doing?
I'm doing okay.
You do.
What
Oh,
a week.
and also, we both had to be beat.
I
Come
know,
on.
right? I know, right? You know how we are about makeup.
Of course,
You
of
know how we are
course.
about makeup. That's one of the things we bonded over. Definitely.
Yes. So we're
Definitely.
gonna start it off to the left and to the right.
Okay.
Um, so we're gonna talk about how we met each other. I'm gonna let
We,
you go
I
first.
was gonna say you gonna go first. Well, no,
My memory
seriously.
may be a little fog, so I'm
Might
gonna
be a
let
little
you
fog.
go first.
Okay, so we met through Candace, mutual friend.
Mhm.
And I was in undergrad with Candace. And I believe it was a birthday party. Like Candace had a birthday dinner or something. And we all
Mhm.
just ended it was me, you, Essence, Thais, and Candace for a couple of years.
Yeah, I
A couple of
that's
years. Yeah. And we just pretty much was connected ever since then. Vacations, went to Hot Springs for my what was it? My 30th.
I swear, forgot
Running
about
from
hot
ghosts.
springs. Oh my lord.
Running from
I
ghosts. Yeah, so we
I wish you
definitely
had that video. I
I've
promise
got to
you.
find it. Essence brings that up often when we're reminiscing. And she's like, Courtney, where's the video? And I said, I think it's on like one of my old Facebook accounts. I'm gonna have to log back in it. And
Mm.
when I was a little ratchet back in the day. And I just canceled the whole account, like, and just started over fresh. I don't want nobody to know this side of me.
No judgment. I promise you,
Look,
no
because I'm
judgment.
like, I even think the bachelorette party videos was on that account too when we went to the pole dancing class.
I
Yeah.
cannot confirm nor deny that I was there. Oh,
So
yeah.
yes, those were the good old days. Good old
Yes, it
days.
was. Yes, it was.
Good old days.
I remember a memory, a good
Okay.
memory where we bonded. It was the rehearsal dinner of Candace's wedding.
Wedding.
And she said that, okay, I'm gonna get a glam squad together to do you guys' hair and makeup.
I
And me and you both looked at each other. She was like,
like,
I'm bringing my makeup case. I said, and me
mm-mm.
too. And it's- and so at the
You
end,
probably don't
we
remember the
end
story,
up,
but you know I don't have eyebrows. Like I took cosmetology in high school, and the girl waxed my some wax too high, so ended up burning my hair follicles. I had to learn how to draw my eyebrows on. So it was one of those things where I'm like, no, I know, like I could do that in my sleep. And the crazy part is, remember the makeup artist was super late, and we ended up having to do our own makeup
yes.
anyway. So and some of the other girls. So yeah,
Yeah, I did Essence and you did Mo to the Joe.
yep.
And we was all in that
It was
bathroom
a look making it do what it do.
making it do
Yes.
what it do. So I want to say personally, thank you for reaching out to me to be on my podcast. I really do appreciate it, and that you took the time out to say, hey girl, I want to tell my story."
Yeah.
And you are an example of what I have been saying all these years, that you have the right to tell your story. So, but
It's too early
thank you
for
so much.
tears. Ugh, it's too early for tears. Too early.
So
But
first
thank
we gon'
you.
no problem. First we gon' Imma have Courtney to lead us in prayer, and we gonna go ahead and pray. Bow your heads, and
Okay, well, Lord, we just really thank you. We just want to tell you thank you. Thank you for this opportunity. Thank you for this platform. We hope that it reach souls. We wanted to reach souls to inspire, to give confidence, to build faith in you, letting all mankind know that you can do exceedingly abundantly above all we could ever ask for or think. And I am a living testament of that. Tiffany is a living testament of that. And because of that, we want to share your goodness, your mercy that you have bestowed upon this life that we live in. And we just want to tell you thank you. We ask that you guard our hearts during this interview, guard our minds and our thoughts, that we may say positive things. And if something negative comes up, that we're able to show that at the end of the day, you still showed up to be a just God. And Lord, we just want to say thank you. Amen.
amen. I told you I was gonna cry my lashes off, and we ain't even to we
Girl.
ain't even to the interview. Oh my god.
Got my tissue.
Thank you. Hold on,
Got
I
my
got look,
tissue. You gotta okay,
okay.
go ahead. We're gonna give you a minute. We're gonna give you a
I
minute.
got it. I
Yeah.
got it. So let's hop right into it. And I know all people want to know, what inspired you to write Unpacked?
Whew, that's a so I honestly one of the ELA teachers at my job. I am a seventh grade science teacher at the Colonial Middle School, the best creative and performing arts middle school in the city of Memphis. Okay. So one of the at the time she was the ELA teacher and now she is a PLC coach. Her name is Miss Polk. And Miss Polk has been there, I want to say, I've been at Colonial 13 years. She's been there probably about 8. So she's kind of seen me go from being a teacher's assistant 13 years ago to now working on my doctoral degree.
Mm,
So she came up to me. This was a few years ago, and she was like, "Bowles, you need to write a book, honey. Like you need to write a book." And I was looking at her like, "Okay." Like what I'm gonna tell people. But I just would write journal. I love to journal, write my thoughts down, and my journal ended up being my book. What made me put it out was the passing of my dad last year.
Mhm.
So it was one of those things where I had
Take your
y'all gotta
time
do
now.
this to me. I had no
Look, look,
idea
look, take your
that,
time.
girl, look, I'm trying. I had no idea that my dad's passing was going to be the final chapter in my book. So, girl, these glasses ain't even real. They just for show. So let me go and take these off.
You know
But
what?
yeah,
Let's look, let's be
not the
look, let's
girl, not the lashes. Don't do it, Tim. You so
oh,
when I
I
say
said,
I'm
I
not
thought
about to
we
play
was
with
being
you. Yeah, like had no idea that the story, surrounding how he passed, because everything was unexpected. You know what I mean? So,
mhm.
yeah, that was the final chapter in my book. And I was like, you know what? Yeah, it's time. So I dropped it digitally first, which was on the 1 year anniversary of his
Wow.
passing. I dropped the digital book on Amazon and on another platform. And then the hard copy came out a month later, and it's on Amazon as well.
Wow.
Yeah,
Oof.
yeah.
Yeah. That's something you have actually dealt with in your book, and I'm gonna tell everybody, we're not gonna give you all the tea on the book. Go
No,
out there
I
and get
can't
it
give him all the
yourself.
tea.
We just gonna give you sprinkles
Just a
here
little
and there,
bit. Just a little bit.
just a little bit. But when I read your book, you remember I text you, I said, "Girl, I can't
You
get through the
did.
first
You
25
inboxed me. I was
pages."
like, yeah, I'm gonna have to wait. Like, I'm gonna have to press pause a little bit. Yeah.
Be because I realize, and this is something that a lot of people don't know,
Yeah.
sometimes your lives can run parallel with
Man.
another person,
Yeah,
and
definitely.
when I read your book, I'm like, "Oh my god, we went through the same thing, and I didn't even know it." So, the next thing I noticed in this book, and this was a great analogy,
Okay.
what made you come up with the box? Like, fold 1, fold 2, fold I was like, "Okay, I see it."
Yeah. Because a lot of times we put ourselves in one.
Mm,
And I think a lot of times we forget that the box has a lid.
mhm,
Um, and I'm not. This is not verbatim, but I remember this video. I'll be on YouTube watching. I love history. Anything dealing with science, anything dealing with history. My son used to, when he was younger, he would be like, "I'm like, how are we going on vacation this weekend? What historical site we going to?" Like he already knew. Like it's an
mhm,
educational moment. But this man put rats in a container, right? And he put the lid on it, right? So every time the rat jumped up, he hit his head on the lid, right? And so later, like weeks later, he took the lid off, and the rat
mm,
would still jump up, but not realize that the lid was gone. You know what I mean? So a lot
mhm.
of times, girl, I know I was gonna be preaching tonight. A lot of times we can be
Look, look, take
in
your time.
something. You know what I'm saying? We could be in something for so long that we are not even supposed to be in or dealing with. And God has given us a way to escape that. He's taken the lid off. You know what I mean? But we're too afraid to leave that box. We're too afraid to jump up and leave because we're comfortable. I don't know why sometimes people be comfortable in dysfunction. Um you become
Because it's ea
it.
because it's easy.
Yeah, and you've dealt with it before. You're like, oh yeah, it's been plenty of times where that little small space, like that's what you feel safe. You know what I mean in that space. Um, and so when my dad passed, when I say everything that was not supposed to
Mm,
be left with him, relationship. Now, most of our people probably would have lost their mind or checked themselves into Lakeside. Literally, I was engaged, which I shouldn't have been because I took somebody back. So, this was around the time, Ashanti and I'm spinning a block and stuff. You'd be like, I'm spinning a block
I
too.
look,
Yeah, I should have made a U-turn. But anyway, and so I'm in this relationship. I ain't got it all. I'm in this
it's all
relationship
good, it's all good.
and so the new year comes in 2024, and it's it. I'm gonna be all over the place.
It's cool.
My
We just
dad had been
talking.
cancer free for over 10 years. And
Wow.
my dad was diagnosed with two cancers, cocinoid cancer and prostate cancer at the same time, and went into remission, right? So the last 10 years that we had together, it was barbecues, vacation. It's like he was like, I got a second chance. He was like, we were doing some of everything. And in hindsight, now I'm like, Lord, I thank you for those memories.
Mm,
I thank you for those great 10 years because I'll never forget. I got my wisdom teeth pulled, and this was July 1st. And my dad called and he was like, "What you doing?" I'm like, "Dad, I barely can talk." He was like, I said, "What you doing?" "I'm out here in this yard." He loved, being in the yard or whatever. And he was
mhm,
like, "My back hurt me or whatever." And I was like, "Well, I got some muscle relaxers, girl. You know how we do." And he was like, "Okay." So I'm like, "But I'm gonna get Callan to bring them to you." Callan went over there, got on him. "Look, old man, you need to go sit down somewhere," type stuff. It wasn't even an hour later, my mom called and was like, I had to call the ambulance. Like, your dad is in so much pain. And my daddy can take some pain. So for him to tell her to, you know what I mean, call 911, yeah, he was in pain. But I'm
mm,
like, yeah, he's not probably gonna go. They're gonna tell me he got gas or something. I'm sitting on back home. I had no idea my dad was gonna pass July 8th. Like, had
mm,
no earthly idea. So he one Monday he's here, the next Monday he's gone. And so I was living in what I felt like was like a dream. Like, everything was numb.
mm,
Everything was just numb. And when I say when my dad passed, everything that was not supposed to be tied to me died with him.
mm,
My relationship, um, people that I knew I shouldn't be socializing with, and the crazy part is, Tiffany, I'm a Pisces. So I wear my heart on my sleeve. I'm a lover, I'm a
yes.
nurturer. I think I'm Mother Nature. Like, I just want to love. And girl, when I say I didn't care when that relationship ended, didn't think twice, blink, cry, shed a tear. And I know in hindsight, had that been a couple of years ago, I probably been balled up in the floor. I did not grieve that because it was nothing for me to
Mm,
grieve because it wasn't supposed to be anyway. So it was like in that moment, I'm just like, yeah, I need to busy myself. And so I just threw myself into my doctoral program, threw myself into finishing my book, not realizing I was doing that so that I wouldn't grieve.
mm,
So while I thought I was fixing two problems with my degree and my book, I was creating another problem
mm.
because I wasn't grieving properly. And people
And
think grieving is crying and screaming and slapping the foot. No, everybody, we grieve different. Kendrick Lamar said it best. He said we grieve different. Everybody don't grieve the same. So what happened with me, I ended up having to go into a place of solitude.
mm,
And a lot of people didn't understand, thought I was acting funny. I just didn't want people in my space. It was like I just needed to be to myself just so I can kind of just grieve how I needed to without other people's input of what they think I should do. Bookmark. You and I both battle what I call invisible diseases. I have
yeah.
multiple sclerosis, and you battle with your seizures. And it's one of those things where we look good because baby's
Mhm.
cute, and you are too. The blue is bluing, but they look at us and they're like, "Oh, ain't nothing wrong," like nothing's
Girl, you
wrong with
don't look
them, but
it.
they don't understand it's on the inside, right? So it's one of those things where I couldn't stress too much, otherwise my MS would have flared.
Mm,
I couldn't stress too much because I still have a mother that's here. I can't stress too much because I still have a son that's here. You know what I mean? So it was one
mhm,
of those things where I was putting a band-aid on stuff, and then this band-aid came off over here, then I run back over here. So yeah, I had to kind of like put myself in a bubble alone, and where people was like, "You don't call me, you don't talk to me, you don't." Sometimes it's just best to just be, and to just be with yourself, because when you're in that quiet space, that's when you can hear from God. When there isn't like other people in your ear trying to tell you how to grieve or what to do, and people like to insert themselves. And So now that I am comfortable in my singleness and in my solitude, I'm very mindful of who I invite into my personal space. And that is a coping mechanism. But I also believe that that's something that God wants us to do. He wants us to protect our peace. So a lot of times we don't know why things are happening to us. It could definitely be because of who you're around. And a
Mhm.
lot of times they say, you are the company you keep. And if you're around a bunch of thieves, eventually you're going to be a thief. You know what I mean? So it's like one of those
Mhm.
things where I had to cut some people off. I had to put myself around people that I knew if I called them, which my best friend Mia, plenty of times. Baby, it could be 2 in the morning. I feel like I'm about to lose my mind. I just need you to pray. Like she would never ask, do I need to pray for something specific? What's wrong with you? No, baby, she
She
would
just start
drop
praying.
and just go. And that's what I need. Like that's what I needed. I didn't need anybody. What you need me to pray to you about? What do you need? No, she was just like, oh, okay. And she would just go right, you know what I mean, to the throne on my behalf because I
Mm.
was too weak to do it. And when you're in a space where you're too weak, you can't even pray for
Pray for
yourself.
yourself.
You have to have people around you who can step in the gap, like who can fill in that void to where you're so broken that you can't even utter the words to, my anxiety got bad, started having panic attacks. I mean, it was bad. And it's like now that I'm in this place of peace and I've kind of cleared my space, I'm good where I am. And I think a lot of people don't understand that because now it's like, you put this book out and told all your business. I'm not ashamed of it. You know what I mean? Like, I think a lot of times people don't share their story because they're afraid of the judgment. But if I didn't
I
go through what I went through, I wouldn't be here.
I understand on so many levels because when I started out, I had my blog and everybody was like, "You putting all your business out there?"
Yeah.
And here is why I did that. And I hope somebody catches this. The reason why I did my blog and I went on to my podcast was I want to tell my story because once I'm long gone and fabulous, I don't want
Right.
nobody lying over me.
Correct. Correct.
But
Definitely.
I touch you did touch on some points about the grieving. Um I remember when I came and supported you with the walk from MS for
Yeah.
MS and my mom just passed away the day before.
Yeah.
And right now I'm in the process of grieving. My mom has been gone since 2014. In fact,
Yeah.
she left April 4th, 2014, and 4 is my lucky number.
Yeah.
Go figure. But it was hard for me to grieve, and I just jumped into, okay, I gotta at that time I had a husband. I gotta take care of him. He's dealing with PTSD. I gotta raise Amari, make sure she does this. And I had to, I started the first day my mom went to chemotherapy,
Hmm.
I started grad school. So I'm sitting at West Clinic with books, seeing my mom go through chemotherapy and just studying to get my master's. And what I came to realize now is now I'm really starting to feel it. Like
Yeah.
if you if you ever seen if anybody's seen a picture of my mom in her younger days, it's very spooky how we
It
both
is. You
look.
guys are like twins. Yes. Every time you post that picture, I'm like, that's scary. Yeah. Scary.
But you definitely expound on that and we're gonna get back to that, but it was another point you touched on about MS. And the thing was my epilepsy started, it's about to get deep.
Okay. Let me brace myself.
um my mom passed away in 2014.
Okay.
um Dealing with my ex-husband, two-time war veteran, dealing with his PTSD.
That's right. You
And
both were in the service. That's where
yeah,
that's where
both of us was
Candace
in the
came
army.
in. Right. Right. Right.
Yeah.
Right. I
So
remember.
skip on to 2015. I found out that I was pregnant.
Wow.
I found out I was pregnant.
I
And
see where you're going with this. Go ahead. I'm just gonna kind of turn my
yes,
head a little
yes,
bit because I can't look in
I
the
found
camera.
out that I was pregnant. And at first, took an at-home pregnancy test, 2 of them, and came out pregnant. And then one day I kept on having like really, really bad
Bad.
cramps. And I went to my gynecologist and I said, the I took an at-home pregnancy test. It shows that I'm pregnant. Right now I'm having really bad cramps. And took a pregnancy test, took a scan, and he came in and he said, "You lost a baby." And even now I'm dealing with it because I just put it in the back of my mind like it didn't happen. Now I'm at a point where I'm grieving the loss of my child.
Yeah.
And after that, then come old epilepsy when I had my first seizure about 3 months after that.
Wow.
Yeah, so
That's that's a lot.
yeah.
That's a
So
lot in a short period
yeah.
of time. That's yeah.
Yeah, and you did talk about your miscarriage as well in the book. And sometimes as women, when we miscarry, we feel like less than a woman.
Right.
You
Right.
see what I'm saying? So
Right.
how was you able to fight through that? And it of course we're encouraging people. How
Right.
was you able to fight through that or get through it, to be honest?
So I've actually lost two babies.
Wow.
So Kaylin would be 24. I was pregnant with her first. And I carried her till 5 months. And she died in the womb. I had to have a DNC, all that other stuff.
Mm,
8 months later I found out I was pregnant with Kylan. Okay. Um, I would say 9 years after that, I was pregnant with Naima.
mm.
Went to a checkup and my plug was out. So in my mind, I'm like, I can't carry girls. And who doesn't want a daughter? Like, I'm like, who doesn't want a daughter? I couldn't carry girls. So I felt like what's wrong, like why my body can't carry the girl gene. um but this is, God is just so amazing. And I was just talking to my goddaughter's mom today. This is so crazy, talking to her today. I have three goddaughters now, and the first one,
Okay.
Kimora is about to be 12 December 13th, and Naima would have been 13. When
Mm,
I got Kimora, she was 4.5 months old. My sister best friend needed a babysitter, which was her granddaughter. And Kimora just didn't go back home. I kept Kimora till she was like 5 years old. Like, girl, calling my
like I
parents,
got this.
grandmama,
I got
granddaddy.
this.
Like, she was just attached to my hip. And then I'm like, had I had Naima, I don't think I would have been able to help Kimora like I had to,
Mm,
because I really needed to be there. You know what I mean? And
mhm.
then couple of years later, I got my Mookie dude, my Audrey.
Mm.
Audrey is about to be 5 in October. And baby,
What?
she
Uh,
whole
w-
handful.
when her birthday in October?
October 11th.
Okay, she Libra. She
She a
alright with
Libra.
me.
She's a Libra. And my baby girl, Naomi, she just turned 2. So I got a bunch of daughters. So yeah, and I take anybody
Mm.
who have daughters, new babies, I'd be like, give me the baby. Callan be like,
All
you
right.
can't get no godsons. I'm like, no. You enough. No, thank you.
I was like, you said baby, so I was like, well, I got a 19-year-old, but
Look,
she.
I'm like, but to get to your point, God gave me love and the responsibility of other little girls to love on and to love me. And it's to the point now, baby, even Audrey mama be like, come get this child, come get her. Cause baby, no, I'm not doing, So those are those are my daughters, baby. They in my will. They on my life insurance policies. Don't be trying to come for me. But yeah,
Ooh,
they taken care of. They are
ooh.
taken care of. Those are my heartbeats. Girl, my folks at the job know about my godchildren. I'm just, God. I feel like God just needed me in that capacity when it came to, because if I had 3 kids right now, girl, there would probably be no Kimora in my life. Probably wouldn't be no
Mm,
Audrey. Probably wouldn't be no Naomi. So yeah, God knew what He needed me for, and I'm a nurturer. I love hard, and normally those
mhm.
who do tend to get hurt the most. Um,
Church
but
preach
yeah,
tabernacle.
and so that's how I grieved. I grieved by loving on my babies. Kamara is a,
Mm,
a huge part of my healing. And when I say huge, huge part of my healing, to the point folks thought I had a baby and they thought it was her. And I'm like, she's not mine, but she looked just like Callan. Like,
mm.
she just, they say you feed them, they look like you, honey.
Speaking
So, yeah.
of Colin, outstanding young man. It's so
Girl, that
crazy
boy.
to see how he grown
Baby,
up.
y'all
I
knew
remember
Callan
he
when
was
he
a
was
little boy.
3. He was 3 years
Yeah,
old when y'all came around.
yeah.
He
Look,
was.
I can say the
He's
same
about to be
thing.
22.
Mari be 20 in January.
Yeah, he's about to be 22. He graduates from college, double major criminal justice and political science at the TSU. Yeah, Tennessee
Mhm.
State University. Held on to his academic scholarship the whole 4 years. Hallelujah, my baby graduating debt free. Jesus. Yes, ma'am. And I pushed that because I need. This is gonna sound so crazy. Um, One day, Callan had to be 4, and I'm like, how can I tell my son that education is how you're going to be able to be productive in this world if I dropped out of high school? And my son, ooh, that boy, my son is the reason I got my GED. My son is the reason I went to college the first time. He's the reason I went to college the second time. And he's the reason I'm going this third time. That boy, he knows this because I tell him all the time. Like, I told him, I said, either you're going to meet me where I'm at or you're going to surpass me. Man, you already got my
Mhm.
master's. And he like, look, I go to grad school, but I ain't getting no doctorate. You can keep all of that. Baby, you can have that, okay? But I ain't doing all that. But he's like, I go to
Mm,
grad school. So it's like generational curse broken. You know what I mean?
mm.
So
Yes.
I push education so hard. And I'm like, how can I tell him and I don't have it? You know what I mean? So
Mhm.
he's a huge, huge reason like behind my success educationally. And not because like he did my work. No, he was my motivation. Like that kid. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And he's a dynamic preacher. I
Girl,
promise
look,
you.
baby, look.
Woo.
God said if you won't do it, I get somebody else to, baby. And when I say
Mm,
the calling, the
mm.
calling on that boy life, and to the point where he has to correct me. I'm the mama, you know. Uh, Folks be like, Callie, you sure that's your mama? Because they know, you know.
Mhm.
So it's one of those things where I'm glad he's the man that he is. Baby, some girl finna be so happy. You hear me? Because I raised a good one.
Mhm.
I raised a good
Mhm.
one. And my son is such a dynamic human
Mm,
being, period. Like he I can't brag enough. And it's not me being, you know, cocky about it. It's just I know our story from me being a single mom,
mm,
raising a black son. You know what I mean? Like
mm,
that's not an easy feat. My dad was a huge part in being that figure, that positive figure in my son's life. So not only did I lose a dad, but he lost his mentor. He lost his best friend. You see, they
mm.
start walking alike. It was, like, Like, y'all, so it was like you see him, you see my dad. So it was one of those things where he lost a big piece of him as well. So I
Mm,
think a lot of people don't realize that grief is so bipolar. And that's what I wanted to tell you when you were like, my mom died in 24. Girl, I could be happy at work. Like, I didn't taught the best I never taught in my life, and then just boom, I'm like, oh my god, I
mhm,
gotta go. Like it comes out of nowhere, and I'm just like, why? Like, why is grief like this? It really makes you feel like you crazy. She's like, I was just
mhm.
laughing 2 seconds ago, and then it could be the smallest thing that will trigger a memory, and then here you go. So I think it's important for people to know that it's okay to grieve. And that's one thing my best friend told me. When you feel like crying, cry. If you want to scream, scream. Like don't hold that in. Like it's okay to cry, it's okay to scream. You want to fall out, but don't stay there too long. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Don't dwell in that. You know what I mean? So I just think that life throws curveballs. How you handle it when you get hit in the head or if you catch it, it just it depends on
Mhm.
how you handle those things, because I could have handled my dad's passing and turned into, I could have cursed God, I could have, what I mean, there are so many different routes I could have taken. um, so it's one of those things where even with my relationship, it's so I could have been out here and just been a hoe and just been like, well, shoot, I tried to do right, but oh well, I'm just gonna date him, and just be out here, like no, like that's just not me. So it's a lot of times people will fall into things that they really don't mean to fall into, but it's the way they're grieving, it's the way they're coping. So with this, it was more so of what can I do to cope, but it not affect me in a way to where I'm gonna have regrets later.
Yeah,
Yeah,
which leads to my other question it was something powerful that you said to be a comforter and be a healer at the same time. You were
yeah,
talking about, the passing of your dad and you was
yeah,
like, I had to be the comforter and I
yeah.
had to be the healer. And I'm like, I never thought about those two things. So what would people explain right now? We're living in this super crazy world where
Yeah,
people are just dropping like flies.
yeah,
So somebody that's in the midst of grief, whether it's a fresh wound or as I as I came up with reading your book, either it was a surface wound or a deep wound, whatever
yeah.
it may be. Um, how can people right now can be encouraged and be okay to be the comforter and to be the healer?
That was kind of twofold.
Mhm.
Because my sister is a daddy's girl. I'm a daddy's girl, but my sister is really a daddy's girl. And so all my brother, like all three of us, we grieved differently, but it was one of those things where I don't want to say I was closer to my parents, but I'm in the church. So it was like I'm in ministry with them. Like I'm the minister of music. I'm there every Sunday. We have whatever, so it was more so of me being around them more like in that aspect. So it was one of those things where, okay, I'm gonna sit my grievance to the side and be a comforter to my mom. I mean, yeah, it was my daddy, but like she was married to this dude 47, like every day. Wake up, go to sleep, wake up, go to sleep, wake. So it
And
was one of those
that
things
is
where I'm like,
rare.
I can't imagine,
Mm,
and I don't want to, because I'm like, I can't imagine what she's going through, what she's dealing with. So it was one of those things where, okay, I gotta be there for my mom. I'll never forget, we were at the hospital and I was did I put this in the book? I can't remember. I fell asleep in the waiting room. I told my mom I didn't want to go. My dad had had surgery. He made it out of surgery because they said he may not. He made it out of surgery. He did wake up. He's on like the breathing tube. So he was wanting it out. And we like, nah, old man, like you gotta keep it, whatever. I told my mom, I'm gonna stay. I'm gonna stay at the hospital. So I went and like grabbed me a little bag, put two of the chairs together, Um, and then these men came in and started cleaning the hospital. And I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna head out because I don't know y'all. And I fall asleep and y'all mess with me. It's gonna be a whole problem. So I'm like, I left and went home. In hindsight, I'm glad that I did because that night I was in my bed sleep and I lost my breath. I woke up and like I couldn't breathe, right? And then
Mhm.
I was like, okay. And I went back to sleep. Probably about 2 hours later, same thing happened. I get a phone call. My mom is like, I need you to get up. I need you to come give me your daddy coding.
Mm.
And I'm like, so I told Cal and my nieces, I said, y'all get up, put some clothes on, I gotta go. Call my sister. My sister got there before we did. And my sister was like, he coded again. They said it was like 7 minutes. As soon as she said that, I already knew my daddy was gone. They got him back, but I knew he was gone. Because anything after 5 minutes, no oxygen to the brain, like you don't want that. That's vegetable. That's you're gonna have, mental like no. So we heard the code again. So this is like the third, fourth time. I remember same hospital. My dad's mom passed in. Unfortunately, when they were doing life support on her, the doors flung open and we saw it. If you never spoke to somebody who've had CPR done on them after and they survived it, they will tell you it's the worst pain. It's so excruciating. Um, my dad was like, I don't never want, like he didn't want, like he was like, "Something happened to me, like y'all better not have them folks back. So we like, okay, this is the fourth time. I'm glad God had us in a state where we were able to say stop. Cause they had been doing it for like 4 minutes then. And we were
Mm.
just like, no, like just stop. Just let him go. Like just stop. Because even though, and I think this is where a lot of people get lost at when it comes to losing a loved one. The selfish side of us, we want them here. Okay. We don't want
Mhm.
them to leave us. But there are a couple of things that we have to take into consideration. We don't know the prayer they prayed to God because he's going to honor them first. If that person say, Lord, I'm tired, I'm ready to go with you. Like, come on. He's going to honor that. Number two, why would you want your loved one left here in a state that they can't even function? Brain dead. Like, why would you want to even see your loved one like that? So, even under all of that, we were able to respect my dad's wishes. Did we want that? No. But even in the grieving, and when they stopped, and here's the thing, Tiffany, when they stopped, the thing was still beep. So the only thing that was making it beep was them. So they was doing it for him. You see what I'm saying? And to see my mom
Mhm.
just hit the floor, it was a wrap for me. I gave myself
Mm.
15 minutes. I gave myself 15 minutes that day. And that day I sat in the middle of the floor at St. Francis screaming. I gave myself
Mm.
15 minutes. And after that, I was on demon time.
Mm.
And when I say demon time, I'm like, okay, so yeah. Now what we finna do? I need to call these people to come get my daddy's body. I need to, you know what I'm saying? I gotta, cause my dad is a pastor. You know what I mean? He has
Mm.
a church, and so, and I wanna, and I hope I don't get in trouble for this. Please take sharing your organs off of your driver's license. These people are vultures. Okay, my
Mm.
daddy was septic, and they was still trying to get his organs to
Say
the
that again
point.
for the back of the church.
Take organ donation off of your IDs. My dad was septic and they were still trying to get his organs. They called my mama 10 minutes after my daddy passed saying they was there to get my daddy organs. And was talking crazy to my mom. Well, it's on his license and legally. I don't think I ever cursed in front of my mama. But I think I backslid for 3 weeks when my dad passed. Because everybody could get it. It was one of them
Mm.
things where you're not finna disrespect my mama. I don't care who you are. So yeah, I went off on them to the point my folks went and got my dead body and went on. We went on to the hearse down at the bottom of it.
Mm.
Cause you're not, and who you finna get these organs to? Cause
Sh-
like, come, what you gonna
Come
do?
on.
And not only that, My dad was a cancer survivor, so you couldn't do nothing, so it made me just think like, man, life can rip. People can be cruel because people have one track
Mhm.
minds. So that's still the comforter, because I'm still having to comfort my mom through all of this mess. Not to speak of church stuff, legal stuff. Like, it was tough. And mind you, I'm the youngest.
Mm.
And I would just say they better be happy it was me and not my brother or my sister, because they wouldn't have been so lenient in some of the choice words. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And so I'm more of like the humble one until I don't, until I can't be anymore. So it was like one of those things where I had to, in that moment, I had to be about, their business. Like, we're not going to be disrespectful. We're not going to, like, because I need to now make sure my mom is good. That's my number one priority. I need to make sure my mom good. I need to
And
make sure
yeah,
she's taken care of.
and to piggyback on what you said, when your dad passed, you was on, demon time.
Hmm.
And also his last wishes. I can also relate to that when it came to my mom. My mom, she was at stage 3, and this is why I say October, my birthday is the best and the worst
And the
time
worst.
because
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
birthday is October 6th. My mom got diagnosed on the 7th, and October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month.
Right.
And when it got back to the point where she was 97 pounds, we had to sign off a do not resuscitate.
Hmm.
And by that time, she was in a coma. And we did at home hospice care, which I had to be over, and I never,
Yeah.
ever, ever forget this. It was the day before she passed away. I went down to my old place of residence, and they had 2 nurses, and when they lift her up, she opened her eyes and she did this. And they was like, "She hasn't opened her eyes in a while. Just talk to her." And me being a funny daughter, I'm like,
Right.
yeah, I'm like, "Okay." I said, "Is Richard Lloyd really my real daddy? I just need to know these things," so on and
Right.
so forth. And the spirit came over me, and, like, the whole time, she was just looking at me like this, and the spirit came over me and said, "Tell her you're gonna be okay." And I said, "I'm good, mom. I'm gonna be okay. I'm gonna be okay." And then they laid her down and she closed her eyes. And after she passed away, I had to plan everything. I don't
Yeah.
I don't give a damn what my family said. I
Yeah.
had to get the me and my little sister, I had to get the suit, I had to get the wigs, the jury, coordinate with the pastor, print the program, see who's on the program,
Yeah.
make sure, A, B, and C. And a lot of people don't understand that. And at that time of us doing that, me and you, we only
You in
gave
survivor
ourselves
mode. You on
you in
survivor
survival
mode.
mode. Let me
You
get my loved one in up to have a nice funeral to their final
Yeah.
resting place. And a lot of people, that's survival mode. And then after that, you exclude yourself from the world. I did
Yeah.
that at one point in time.
Yeah. You do.
But yeah, so so here's another thing, since you talk about your dad a lot, and I'm gonna put up the link after once we close where you can
Okay.
find her book.
I got you.
Um,
Mhm.
so you talked about your dad in the world where we need black positive fathers.
Yeah.
Describe the best advice he gave you and how you passed that along to your son.
Girl, to know my daddy is to
Just one,
love
just
him.
one.
Girl, cause see, my daddy was a hot mess. Y'all just don't know. My dad was such a comedian, like, and I guess I'll say that. My dad lived life. If he wanted to go out of town, he was going.
Mhm.
Cause you only got one life. Like, that's just how he was. You only got one life. If there was one thing that my dad taught me, it was to be humble. And that's twofold, because my son is so humble until it irritates me.
Mm.
Like, what? No, it irritates me because a lot of times when people are humble like that, people take it as a weakness.
Yes.
They take their kindness for weakness. My dad was one of those people where he didn't like confrontation. He didn't like just mess. Like he didn't like none of this. So he always tried to keep the peace. So if it was one thing, it would be that his humbleness and to be humble, like in serving others. He didn't have a respective person. So you could be the president and you could be a homeless man. He gonna talk to you the same. He's not gonna talk to the homeless man any different than he would the millionaire. You know what I mean? He was just a
Mhm.
people person. So he just taught me to be kind because you don't know who you entertaining. God could send an angel your way, man, to just be testing you, and you could be rude. Like that's why you have to be careful how
Mhm.
you treat people. Like you just have to. And I guess I didn't understand it at first because it was things I would be like, man, why my daddy let them come?
Mm.
And I'm like, why would he? And it's like now I'm like, I get it. I
Mm.
get it. I get it. I get it now. So yeah. Be humble. Sit
Yes,
down.
yes.
Be
And
humble. No.
uh,
Yeah.
yeah.
I
Oh,
know.
hold up.
Yeah.
I have wretched sides on my
Me
podcast
too.
because it's mine.
Look,
But here was another thing that I found in your book. Like I said, we ain't finna give you all the sauce. We're gonna give you sprinkles.
it's a lot. They couldn't get it all anyway, honey, because that
Uh-uh.
book is a roller coaster. Like
Ooh,
just have some
I,
tissue to laugh, cry, and I don't
yep.
know. It's a lot. It's a
Yep.
lot.
I
It's a
was
lot.
when I told you within the first 25 pages, I'm up
Yeah.
there with my boyfriend. I said, I'm gonna read my friend's book. And then I just started crying. He said, babe.
Yeah.
He said, babe, just put the book down.
I
I'm
was
like,
definitely like that writing it because it to have to go back and
mhm,
relive like
mm,
that was hard to have to yeah that was hard during that process. Yeah.
yeah, because I understand in great detail of reliving that process,
Yeah.
especially with me coming out on my podcast and telling people, yeah, I dealt with this. Yeah, I cheated. Yeah, I did. I was a alcoholic, which congratulations, 6 months free with no hard liquor. 6 months free. I had a shot, but
uh,
I haven't been drinking constantly.
I
She
got you.
knows.
I definitely understand. My thing is this though, Tiff. I feel like every step is an accomplishment. I really
Mhm,
wish people would understand God. And I was talking to God baby mama about this earlier. God knew we were imperfect, right? He
mhm.
knew this. And so when he made the way for repentance, he did that because he knew we went. And I was telling Michelle, I said, who finna repent 170 times a day? What are you doing that you gotta repent that
Mm.
many times? So I feel like even with that, his grace.
Ooh.
You know what I'm saying? Because it's I promise you, I'm not the perfect anything. I'm so flawed. So flawed. But I'm just grateful that even in my wrongdoings, he still shows grace and mercy. He still
Mm.
loves me. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that is a great accomplishment, and I am very, very, very proud of you.
Girl, don't make me cry again.
I
Don't make me
am.
cry
I'm
again.
so proud of you. I really
Yeah, because
am.
Courtney knows she was in the thick of it. It was
And we
nothing
used to
for me to knock
party.
down no Jack and Coke. It was nothing for me to knock out a
Yeah.
Jack and Coke. But
And I don't even girl, I ain't partying. The last time I partied was my 30th birthday. I'm about to be 45 in February. My 30th
ooh,
birthday. Yeah, never again. I was like, Lord, if it was one of them nights where Lord, if you get me through this, I'll never. And I didn't.
yep.
Did not. So I definitely get it. I definitely get
Yep, we all go through that. Lord, if you just get me through this.
it.
But it was for me to come out there and open my life, even on down to the stages of my divorce.
Yeah.
And everybody came out and everybody was like, either I got one or two reactions. Either I got, dang, I ain't know this happening.
Yeah.
And we ain't gonna say his name, but he needed swoop.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
one of those two things.
Yeah.
But um it's 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 very, for some people they're not and I'm not down anybody's journey. It's some people that's not ready to open up
To tell
to the
their story.
world.
Right.
And
Because you don't want anybody I think it's more so they don't want to be judged, or they don't want people to take their words out of context, but it's your story. It's what you lived, and you can only tell it the way you can tell
mhm,
it. Because I promise you, a lot of people, I was like, dang, she went through all of that and she still, you know what I'm saying? Because
mhm,
when if you hear it on the surface, you like she would. Like, a lot of people assumed I dropped out of high school because I was like illiterate or something. Like, no. You know what I'm saying? And so when I got into education, it wasn't just because I have a passion to teach, but I was trying to protect young girls because of what happened
mm,
to me in high school, being a
mm.
cheerleader and, being active at Hamilton. And I actually, how can I say this? I actually felt really bad later on down the years when it hit the news that some of the students had gotten pregnant by some of the coaches and all this other stuff.
Mhm.
And I'm just like, what if I had said something earlier? So you start kind of nitpicking with yourself. What if I had said something earlier? Maybe I could have prevented this, or maybe if I had so I had all of that going on with me. And
Mm.
so to tell that and for people to know that, I've never been ashamed about it. Like, yeah, I dropped out of high school. Okay, I did. But this is why I dropped out. And now they like, what? So I started doing Girls and Pearls at Colonial.
Yeah, I
And it's
remember
a
that.
it's a safe space because unfortunately you have people in education that are just mentally dysfunctional, and they're out here taking advantage of children who are
Mhm,
naive, or they'll try to like get someone who they see is probably a little neglected at home, or like in my case kind of just quiet and probably wouldn't say anything. And it was more so of a couple things. My dad is an elder. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to, and my parents didn't know what was wrong with me. I'm not going back to school. Like, it
mhm.
caused issues. I was a senior. I only had like 8 months. Like, I'm like, I ain't going back. You ain't going.
Look,
I'm not going back. Like, I'm not, and I refused. Like, we argued a very long time. I lost my godparents because I dropped out of
mm,
high school. They didn't want to have nothing to do with me. But I just
mm.
got one thing to say. Look at me now. Look
Hey,
at me
look at
now.
me now. Hey.
No. My point is, you can't judge people based on past mistakes. You can't do that. Like, that's why when my students mess up, or even if my son was to have a flaw moment, I'm still going to love you. I'm still going to nurture you,
Mhm.
because that's what I'm supposed to do if I'm supposed to be a Christian, right? The
Yeah.
Bible tells us, with love and kindness have I drawn thee.
Yep.
So why would you shun me? Like, I would
Mm.
never. Like, I would never. I tell my son all the time, I don't know if there's nothing that you could do that would make me hate you.
I always tell my
So,
daughter, she's at Grand Canyon University in Arizona. She's studying
oh,
nursing. I always tell her after, we talk, I said, I love you. And no matter what, I'm proud of you. Cause I
yeah.
wanted to reinforce that, you know, let's
Yes.
just say she takes a different journey from nursing and want to go here. I
Right.
said, I instilled in her, look, I love you. And
Yeah.
no matter what, I am proud of you. So that
And you
girl, we
have to. You have to.
you have to.
And
So
I wonder if that's a cultural thing though, because
mm,
man, I even told my son, I was like, when you graduate college, you come back home, figure out what you want to do, whatever, whatever. A lot of times, our culture be like, you turn 18, you gone. Like, no, because even in this moment, I'm building my son's credit. I want to make sure that when I do release him into the world, that he's prepared. Like, you can't just, I don't know. I'm
hey,
not doing that.
for those who didn't hear that, she says she repairing her son's credit. Take that with you.
Yeah. I
Take
mean,
that
because
with
a lot of times the kids don't build their credit when they're in college. And then when
you.
they get out,
Mm-mm.
try to get an apartment, they need a cosigner, or because they don't have credit. So, yeah, my son's car is in his name. He pays his note. You know what I mean? Like, so it's stuff that we do to make sure when he graduates, he has credit built up. even at a young age. I can't wait till he get 25 and get his own car insurance though, because that's high.
Ooh, yes, God. But well, thank you, Courtney. And finally, I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen because this is where y'all need to get this book. Hold on, wait a minute. Auntie, she got new
Not
equipment.
auntie. Auntie.
Auntie, this is her book,
Yes, it
Unpacked
is.
with Courtney Renee. Please, 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 y'all go support my girl. Because when I tell you that this book is amazing, and I'm not saying that because it's my homegirl and she look fly and I look fly. I'm saying that I this is a this is a page turner. And I'm encouraging you to read this book because maybe it will open you up to tell your story and
Yeah.
not feel judged by the world. Because what happens is when you withhold your story, you don't know. Somebody else is going through that right now and debating, okay, whether should I live or whether should I die or whether I
Yeah.
should sink into depression. Your story could help them and say, you know what, I've been through this. I came out of this because it's some people's
Yeah.
stories that's helped me as well. So, like I said, Auntie got her.
Definitely. I definitely appreciate it, Tiff. I really want, if I had anything to say to close, I would just like for people to be more kind. It's
Mhm.
okay to be kind.
It
Um
it doesn't cost
try
anything.
it doesn't cost anything. When if you have a friend, family member who is dealing with an invisible disease, and if you don't know what that is, that can be lupus, that can be multiple sclerosis, that can be type 1, that can be epilepsy, that can be rheumatoid arthritis. I could go on.
Mhm.
Um so that could be sickle cell anemia. Like, these things are, it's an inside thing, right? So on the
Mhm.
outside, a person can look fine, but it costs nothing to be kind. Just do your research before you
Yeah.
judge or assume, a person might be faking because she look fine, she okay.
Yeah.
Like, just do your research on these things.
Like,
And I
girl, you
tell
don't look
people,
sick.
yeah, I tell people all the time, I wouldn't wish this on anyone. So that's why I try to be mindful when it comes to things like this, because your negativity can speak sickness into your own body. And then here you
Mhm.
are dealing with something similar. So, yeah, take advantage of doing research. If you want to just pick one and give to it, if you see different fundraisers going on around the world for epilepsy, for lupus, for MS, like, because these programs really do help and assist, because the treatments that we have to get, they are super expensive. They accidentally sent me a bill. I get my infusion once a month. It was like over 20 some thousand dollars. Who got that kind of money? So
Yeah.
these different programs do assist and help us in many different ways. So I just want to encourage people to just kind of do your research first before you start judging people who have, invisible diseases. That's what they
Yeah.
they call them, invisible, because they say you don't look sick.
You don't look sick. And speaking of that, you brought up a great point that I plan on doing an episode because I have a friend, her name I have a friend that's dealing with MS and I have another friend that's dealing with sickle cell. And I was planning on probably like around November for us to
Yeah,
have a round table talk
that would be
of
so
all of us,
cool.
dealing with
Yeah.
a disability and,
Yes.
kind of break down the stigma
The
of it.
stigma.
Um,
Yes.
it's the stigma and the judgment. People
And I
think
think
that
it's
any
it's not
moment.
talked about enough, especially like in
Of
our
course.
culture. In our
Oh,
culture,
no.
no, it's not talked about enough. And you'll be surprised how many African Americans deal with a lot of this.
As
So
far
yeah.
as epilepsy, 1 in 4 Black people deal with it, and we are the most out of any race, us in the Latino race, that deal with
Wow.
epilepsy. And a lot of people don't know that because with epilepsy, it's a silent disease. Well, just
Yeah.
a silent disease because you don't wanna tell anybody that you have
Yeah.
seizures, and then people,
Are
um,
afraid to come. That's
are
just.
afraid, and then, they think it's pretty much, "Oh, something's wrong with your mind," and
Mhm.
it's really not that. So we're gonna break down that stigma. I'll get you the information.
Yeah.
But
That would be
thank
so dope,
you.
Tiff.
Oh, yeah, I'm doing it because no November is a National Epilepsy Month.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
but
That's gonna be
thank you.
dope.
That is gonna be dope. I'm rounding up all my girls, and for those who are listening to this podcast, this is a safe space. If you wanna
Safe
tell your
space.
story, if you want to spread awareness about the invisible scars or what you're dealing with,
Yeah.
this is a safe space because you don't know. You might help somebody else.
Yeah.
You might help somebody else. But
Prime example, my niece was diagnosed with MS last year.
mm,
She's in law school. She's not
mm,
even 25 yet. So
mm.
we have to be mindful. I can't wait for you to that one's gonna be good, Tiff. I'm excited, okay?
I'm inviting
I'm
everybody.
excited.
I'm
I'm
inviting
excited.
everybody to the round table, November. I'll drop the date. If you
Okay.
even if you want, you can inbox me if you're ready to tell your story. And it's just gonna be a round table
Yeah.
of us. And trust me, we're gonna be looking good and fabulous and everything else. But we're gonna
Mhm.
share our experiences. So Courtney, I
I
can't say
love
it enough.
you.
Oh, you got back about 2 seconds taking out my lashes. I'll wait till after.
Girl, I still ain't learned to put no lashes on. I be poking myself in the eye and stuff. I just be like,
Oh,
forget
Lord.
it.
But
I
but
can't
I
do it.
wanna say so much. Just thank you. Just really thank you just for coming on here and sharing your story and, allowing me to, be the platform to share your story. That's what
We've come a long way, Tiff.
I know. You about to be, I'm about to be 41 and fine, so, us 80s
Yeah.
baby, we age backwards.
Baby,
Okay.
look. We can do. Because at the parent teacher conference, the teacher's like, see, y'all young teachers don't. I said,
Mhm.
I'm 44. She said, you lying. I had to show her my ID because she is. It's like, yeah, we aging backwards.
We age
These little young
backwards.
girls better look out, honey. Cause
Mhm. I promise you. But we're gonna close this, and I always say, you, yes, you, and everybody on the sound of my voice, you have the right to tell your story. Don't give anyone the right to tell it for you. Let's clap it up for Courtney for coming on, and I will see y'all later. I holla.